Hello and welcome to another update video about Polkadot. Here we unfortunately also have the situation that we do expect some upside. We did expect some upside. We saw some upside here yesterday as well, but it hasn't been anything substantial. The problem is that we currently see across the market is that the recoveries that we talked about, that we also expected after this low, they have been very shallow. In most crypto charts I did expect upside. I mean, we saw upside since this low here from the 29th of August, but again it was just very shallow. Leaves the question open if this wave 2 that we see here in white has actually already finished. So we might get one more dip in this current wave 2. We talked about that before. This is what currently makes it so difficult across the crypto market, that there are so many different possibilities in the lower time frames. And believe me, it's not a good time. It's not an enjoyable time to analyze the market at the moment. It just leaves too many questions open. That whatever method you use, overall you come to the conclusion we're in a sideways range. And looking at the higher level picture, certainly the overall bottom for this correction could be in also for Polkadot here. That was here around the $6 mark. But also this scenario gets challenged, and then the lower time frame scenarios leave a lot of questions open as well. It's not great at the moment. Unfortunately, you see these phases in the markets from time to time. But overall, what I can tell you is that we might have to consider that the low wasn't in here. This is for Bitcoin also what we possibly have to expect, unless we go above the $7.80 level. Then we can really consider this wave 2 was in. At the moment, we can make an assumption for it and base our decisions on that. But unless we really go above this level, we have to assume that the low might not be in. Okay, so always leave the options open at the moment. Always leave the options open. So that might mean that we have to add another layer of waves in here, which is perfectly fine and possible. I explained that in detail in the Bitcoin video, that we might see one more dip here before we see that recovery. In white here, you can currently see the, or let's say this wave 2 belongs to the bullish wave count, by the way. So in that we moved up here. I'll show you the bullish count first, that we moved up here in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern, a leading diagonal in a wave 1. This here is an A, B, C pattern in a wave 2. In the bullish count, we would either expect an impulsive move to the upside now or after one more dip. Okay, so hopefully that was clear. In any dip, we want to avoid ideally to break below the $6.40 level. This is sort of the last key level of support before it really gets dangerous. And then obviously below $6, the bullish count has to be dismissed completely. At the moment, I'm still slightly leaning towards the bullish count, even though it's getting challenged significantly. So below $6.40, I will make the bearish one the primary one. But this is the bullish count. When does the bullish count get confirmed? Unfortunately, due to the wave structure and that strong retracement here, we can really only say that as soon as we go above this wave B high at $9.17, we can start to rule out the bearish count. And even here, it's still possible. So really, only when we get above $9.70, this will confirm that the bearish alternative doesn't work out. That's how it is. Therefore, it is so difficult at the moment. Overall, you're in this range here between basically between $10 and $6. It's a large range. Only the breakout of the larger range will get us to understand what we are really doing. Obviously, the higher we go now, especially if the move up will be impulsive, we will be able to focus less on the bearish count, which is currently still the alternative only. But especially if we're down here in this challenging environment, we have to keep an eye on it. But that's also why I told you that in any scenario, I actually expect some upside very shortly, because either here, upside in the bearish alternative count, or the primary one where we would go through anyway straight away. In the bearish, currently still alternative count, we assume that all of this was just a corrective wave to the upside. We have then seen in green here a wave 1 to the downside. Again, at the moment we can assume this is finished, but it could very well be that also here we see one more dip, like in the bullish count. Then we will see that move up into the wave 2 area. And from here then we are going to make lower lows. Which area do we expect the wave 2 to retrace into? So this is between the 38.2% FIB level and the 61.8% FIB level, between $7.90 and $8.60. Yeah, so I would expect the price to get into this region anyway. Ideally, yeah, ideally, never guaranteed in this market, but this is my view. This is the ideal retracement area for a wave 2. And in any bullish scenario, we would get into that area as well. Yeah, possibly after one more dip, yeah, possibly, but this doesn't need to happen. And even if we see one more dip and make a lower low, I think after that we should see that recovery, either in a bullish or bearish scenario. So there is upside potential here. What I can't tell you if we're going there straight away or not, because what is currently happening here is messy. It's not what we ideally want to see. It's a lot of weakness still. Therefore, I think the assumption to make one more dip before we go up is actually, well, definitely something to be considered. But yeah, then I would expect that larger wave 2 correction or an impulse to the upside in a bullish count before we then have to consider here in this region. Now I have to watch it closely. If we see a lot of weakness here, it might really be that we come down in wave 3 and will make one more lower low. So difficult market environment at the moment. Important is to leave options open here. Sometimes it's good to sit on the sidelines. Perfect, for me, perfect environment to dollar cost average in. A lot of uncertainty. I think I gave you the key levels in this video. There is not much certainty there out there at the moment. And sometimes it's good to just acknowledge that. So I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.